You imagine a romantic life of sending ships safely, but the reality was isolation, storms and danger. Imagine living completely alone on a rocky island, surrounded by nothing but the endless sea. No phone. No radio. No one to talk to for weeks, sometimes months. Your only job? Keep a single light burning, or risk dozens of lives. Welcome to the brutal life of a lighthouse keeper in the 1800s, one of the loneliest, most dangerous, and most thankless jobs in history. Back in the 19th century, lighthouses were humanity's GPS. Without them, ships crashed into rocks, killing hundreds. But those lights didn't run themselves. Lighthouse keepers had to trim wicks, polish massive glass lenses, haul oil up steep spiral stairs, and stay awake through stormy nights just to make sure the flame didn't go out. If it did, even for a few minutes, an entire ship could be destroyed. And guess who got blamed? The keeper. Many worked 12 to 16 hours a day, every day, often in brutal weather conditions. There were no weekends, no holidays, just the endless routine of survival. Isolation was the worst part. Some lighthouses were so remote they could only be reached by boat once a month, or less. Keepers might not see another person for weeks. Letters from family arrived rarely, if ever. And when storms hit, they could be completely cut off. There are records of lighthouse keepers losing their minds, talking to walls, inventing imaginary friends, even hallucinating ships that weren't there. One infamous case in 1801 involved two Welsh keepers at Small's Lighthouse. After one died in an accident, the other was trapped alone with the corpse for months, terrified of being accused of murder if he threw it into the sea. By the time rescuers arrived, he was nearly insane. The ocean was merciless. Huge waves could slam against the tower, shaking the entire building. Windows shattered, and freezing water flooded the rooms. Getting to and from a lighthouse was dangerous too. Small boats had to navigate violent waves to deliver supplies. Many keepers, and their families, drowned just trying to reach home. In some remote locations like Scotland's Bell Rock or Ireland's Fastnet, the only way to land was by rope ladder, often while waves smashed the rocks below. Keeping the light burning wasn't just tiring, it was exhausting. Oil lamps needed constant cleaning. The massive glass Fresnel lenses had to stay spotless, or the light would dim. That meant scrubbing every piece by hand. Keepers carried heavy containers of whale oil up hundreds of stairs daily. Many suffered back injuries, arthritis, and lung problems from constant smoke and damp air. Sleep deprivation was normal, so was malnutrition, since fresh food rarely survived long at sea. Some keepers brought their families to live with them, wives, children, even pets. But that didn't make it easier. Imagine raising kids where there's no playground, no neighbors, and nowhere to run but the ocean. Wives of keepers did just as much work, tending gardens in poor soil, caring for the sick, and keeping spirits up. Many diaries from the time describe unbearable loneliness and constant fear. One storm could destroy everything, and often did. Yet, despite the misery, there was pride in the work. Keepers knew they were saving lives every night. Ships depended on their light, and so did sailors' families. For some, that sense of duty made the suffering worth it. Many keepers described sunsets and sunrises from their towers as the most beautiful sights they had ever seen, brief reminders that their isolation wasn't entirely without meaning. By the late 1800s, technology began to change everything. Gas lights, clockwork mechanisms, and eventually electricity reduced the need for human keepers. By the mid-20th century, most lighthouses were automated, and the keepers, those lonely guardians of the coast, slowly disappeared. Their sacrifices faded into history, leaving only the towers behind as silent witnesses to what they endured. So next time you see a lighthouse on a cliff or in a stormy painting, remember, it's more than a pretty landmark. It's a monument to the men and women who lived, worked, and sometimes died to keep others safe. Being a lighthouse keeper in the 1800s wasn't romantic. It was raw, dangerous, and utterly isolating. And that's why, for most people, it truly sucked to be one. Veil of Aeons should look like a portal, blending ancient mystery with modern intelligence. Every color, sound, and visual should make the viewer feel like they're uncovering a hidden truth buried in time. So please subscribe Veil of Aeons YouTube channel.